Good morning, um, and welcome to the First Universalist Church of Yarmouth. My name is Gwen, and I am the Director of Education and Communications here at First Universalist. I'm so happy to be greeting you this morning. Our service today will be a little different than usual, as we are Zooming from separate locations to best comply with the new mask mandate and safety regulations in Maine. Even though our service won't be live streamed fully from the sanctuary, it is still good to be with you live this morning. Thanks for continuing to support us as we try to maintain our connection to one another this year. At First Universalist, our mission is to explore our faith, embrace this community, and to engage the world as spiritual seekers. May we take those words to heart. Before our service begins this morning, I have one announcement. All are welcome to join us for Zoom coffee hour following our service. Today, during this time of fellowship, members of the Anti-Racist Working Group will lead a discussion on the 8th principle. And now, I invite you to take a deep breath and settle into this different but still sacred space and time we create together each week. Reverend Hillary will now lead us into our worship service.
Thanks, Gwen. Good morning, everyone. My name is Reverend Hillary Collins-Gilpatrick, and it's with joy that I say, whoever you are, wherever you're from, whomever you love, whatever you've done, whether you prefer pecan pie to pumpkin, tofurkey to turkey, canned cranberries to real ones, or let's get real, we're just ordering Domino's this year. You, my friend, you are welcome here. And we're so glad you're here with us this morning. Today, I speak to you upon the ancestral dawnland of the Wabanaki Confederacy, on the 400th anniversary of the Mayflower's arrival at Plymouth Rock, and on the cusp of a Thanksgiving week, unlike any we've celebrated recently. We offer you today a service of remembrance, of prayer, of generosity, and of thanks. First, today, we welcome all ages of our community to join us in this newfangled but very real sanctuary that we create together. How sad we cannot be physically together today to mark this occasion, but how wonderful it is that our sanctuary now stretches far and wide across our state, and yes, even across our country. We are physically apart, sure, but perhaps, just perhaps, we are more deeply and widely connected than ever before. For this, let's be grateful. Our opening words this morning are a poem by singer-songwriter, educator, and self-described rural mystic, Carrie Newcomer. Her poem is entitled 3 Gratitudes. Every night before I go to sleep, I say out loud 3 things that I'm grateful for. All the significant, insignificant, extraordinary, ordinary stuff of my life. It's a small practice and humble, and yet I find I sleep better, holding what lightens and softens my life ever so briefly at the end of the day. Sunlight and blueberries, good socks and wool socks, a fine rain, a good friend, a nice dog, fresh basil and wild phlox, the song that always makes me cry, always at the same part, no matter how many times I hear it. Decent coffee at the airport, the frost patterns on the windows, English horns and banjos, wood thrush and June bugs, the smooth, glassy calm of the morning pond. A new poem, my library card, and my car that keeps running despite all the miles. And after 3 things, more often than not, I get on a roll and I just keep going. I keep naming and listing until I lie grinning, blankets pulled up to my chin, awash with wonder at the sweetness of it all. The sweetness of it all. As I light our chalice this morning, the symbol of our faith and goodness, won't you join me in saying aloud our chalice lighting words? We light our chalice in peace and friendship. My friends, our service of Thanksgiving has begun. Our opening hymn is number 349, We Gather Together, and words are printed this week in your order of worship if you'd like to sing along. Thank you, Sam and choir, for leading us in music today.
We gather together in joyful thanksgiving, acclaiming creation whose bounty we share. Both sorrow and gladness we find now in our living. We sing a hymn of praise to the life that we bear. We gather together to join in the journey, confirming, committing our passage to be a true affirmation in joy and tribulation, when bound to human care and hope, then we are free.
Hi, everyone. We have a special holiday coming up this week that we call Thanksgiving. It happens once every year in November. You probably know that, but not all people celebrate Thanksgiving the same way. The Haudenosaunee people, for example, set aside time to give thanks every single day.
It's so great to give thanks every single day, not just one day out of the year. So let me tell you a little bit about the Haudenosaunee people. They're an alliance of 6 Native American nations: the Mohawk, the Oneida, the Onondaga, the Cayuga, the Seneca, and the Tuscarora. And these folks are more commonly known as the Iroquois Confederacy, and the land of their ancestors and what we now call New York State.
The Haudenosaunee people say some special words called their Thanksgiving address as a way to remind themselves to appreciate all things. These words help them to remember the connection that people have to the natural world.
Today, in honor of Thanksgiving and all that we have to be thankful for, and in honor of the Haudenosaunee people, we're going to read aloud their Thanksgiving address and give thanks along with them for all the beautiful gifts we have on this beautiful earth. So listen as we share these words now.
Greetings and thanks to each other as people.
Hey, Gwen. Hey, person. Greetings and thanks to the earth, for our earth mother gives us all that we need for life.
To the waters in all their many forms, waterfalls and rain, mists and streams, rivers and oceans, greetings and thanks. For water is life.
To the fish who live in those waters, we send our greetings and thanks.
Greetings and thanks to the plants who grow as far as the eye can see.
To all the food plants. Do you like celery? All the food plants that we harvest from the garden, we honor and send our thanks and greetings.
For the medicine herbs that help to take away sickness and heal us, we send greetings and thanks.
Greetings and thanks to all the animal life in the world that have so many things to teach us as people.
To the trees that provide shelter and shade, fruit and beauty, greetings and thanks.
To the birds. Can you make a bird with your hand? Take one of your hands, take your other hand, put your thumbs together, press them, and then pretend your palms are wings. To the birds, from the smallest to the largest, we send our joyful greetings and thanks.
Greetings and thanks to the four winds. Can you make some wind with your mouth? That refresh us and bring us the air we breathe.
For the thunderers, for bringing lightning, thundering voices, and water that renews life, we send greetings and thanks to the thunderers.
For bringing the light of each new day, we send greetings and thanks to the sun, our brother.
To our oldest grandmother, the moon, who lights the nighttime sky, we send her greetings and thanks.
Greetings and thanks to the stars for guiding us home when we travel at night.
For our enlightened teachers, when we forget how to live in harmony, they remind us of the way we were instructed to live as people. So we send greetings and thanks to these caring teachers.
For the gifts of creation and all the love that is around us, we send our greetings and thanks to the Creator.
Oh, that was so nice. So Gwen, that last line you just read about the Creator, that was the last line of this beautiful Haudenosaunee Thanksgiving address, which feels to me a lot like a prayer of thankfulness. And Gwen, when we say prayers in church, do you remember what we usually say at the end of them?
Yeah, we usually say amen or let it be so at the end of prayers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, instead of amen or let it be so at the end of this thankfulness prayer, the Haudenosaunee usually say, now our minds are one.
Now, wow. Now our minds are one. That's a really powerful thing to say. I feel like it's a way of saying that we're all connected to the animals, the plants, the birds, the thunder, the beautiful things we just expressed gratitude in our world.
Exactly. And when we say each of these things that we're thankful for, it's like we let them in to our hearts and our bodies and our minds. And we realize that they keep us alive and we keep them alive and we're one with them.
Giving thanks really just helps us to feel connected.
Totally. Yeah. And giving thanks, it always makes me feel better. It helps me let go of all the stuff that makes me mad or sad. And instead, it helps me think about what makes me feel good, what I love in this world, and what makes the earth feel good.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. And you know what always surprises me about giving thanks?
What?
So even when I'm sad or mad or I'm just in a bad mood, if I just slow down for a minute and ask myself, is there anything I'm thankful for? I always can think of something.
That's so true.
So in honor of Thanksgiving this Thursday, what if we try it out right now? How about if we all just slow down for a minute right now and think about something we're thankful for?
Okay, let's do it. That was nice. Did it all make you feel good to think of some of the things you're all thankful for out there? Yeah? Okay. Well, in honor of Thanksgiving, how about on the count of 3, we all say out loud, no matter if you're with people or if you're by yourself, we all say out loud one thing we're thankful for together. You ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Pumpkin pie!
My family! Yay!
Yay! Happy Thanksgiving, Gwen.
Happy Thanksgiving, Reverend Hillary, and happy Thanksgiving to all of you.
To all of you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Today, I offer a reflection on our gifts. And in particular, there is a person I would like to honor. Today, as we give thanks, for this Thanksgiving is the Smith Fund. I am often asked, what is the Smith Fund? Each year, we receive about $15,000 from this trust fund. I recently discovered that the trust was established in 1920 upon the death of Edward H. Smith. As this year marks 100 years of the fund, I thought it appropriate to honor his generosity and probably his father's generosity. So I did some digging, and this is what I found. Edward was born in 1845. He grew up in Yarmouth. He attended the Universalist chapel, which was on West Elm Street, until at age 16 he joined the Army. He served in the Civil War and then settled in New York City. He died in New York in 1920, establishing the Smith Fund for the benefit of our church for charitable purposes. The initial value of the trust is unknown, but it might have been about $20,000, but today it is $350,000. So what's the connection to First Universalist? Edward's father was a member of the Universalist chapel. He was a merchant. He served as Yarmouth town treasurer. He was active in real estate, and he invested in the Union Wharf, which was down at the harbor. He died in 1860. His eldest son, Edward, then just 15, would have received the inheritance from his father. Perhaps the Universalist chapel also received a legacy gift. Young Edward, though about to move away for the rest of his life, must have held a deep connection to his Universalist heritage. When the Universalist chapel closed in 1886, its members merged with the Unitarians of this church. That's when we became a Universalist church. Negotiated, so the story goes, in part because it was the Universalists who brought the money necessary for the Unitarians to continue functioning. Edward honored that Universalist legacy in his will. So for over 100 years, the Universalists' financial gifts and the Unitarian spirit of social justice continue to thrive in Yarmouth. I am grateful.
Thank you, Marge, for that wonderful history lesson. I am grateful for the sleuthing you did to find out about Edward H. Smith. And I think he'd be very proud to know that we offer a half plate share every week during our offering. And this week's half plate honors our first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And it will go to Preble Street to help them serve over 1,600 meals daily. During COVID-19, Preble Street is providing 3 meals a day for guests staying at area shelters, as well as other stops around Portland. Now, as much as ever, your support saves lives. You are invited to make your offering today using the donate button in your order of worship. And by clicking this link, you'll be taken to Give Butter, a virtual giving site that accepts a card number, PayPal, and Venmo accounts. You may also give your offering by dropping a check in the mail or by using your bank's bill pay feature. This morning's offering has now been requested and will be gratefully received. Thank you.
One, two. From all that dwells below the skies, let faith and hope with love arise. Let beauty, truth, and good be sung through every land, by every tongue. Amen.
Thank you, choir. Thank you, Anne, Sarah, and Karen, and Sam. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. One of the things I'm really grateful for this year is the honor of serving as one of our coming of age teachers. Seriously, I love coming of age. In my humble opinion, it is Unitarian Universalism at its best. And you all know what coming of age is, right? Coming of age is a year-long course for youth that covers big topics related to ethics, theology, spiritual practice, social justice, and much, much more. Each class, we invite our teens to seek out what they believe is true, good, worthwhile within these topics, and to continually ask themselves, what do I believe? Coming of age culminates in the Credo ceremony, a Sunday service and a rite of passage in our faith, in which each student stands up before the congregation and reads or performs, plays, shows, or sings their personal belief statement for the gathered community to witness and celebrate. How cool is that, right? Our credo ceremony this year will be on Mother's Day. Mark your calendars now. This afternoon in our coming of age class, we're discussing shared values. And through a handful of activities, we'll invite our youth to narrow down a long list of values, ranging from honesty to popularity, happiness to empathy, being normal to individuality, down to one value that is especially important to them right now. Then we'll help our youth come up with a personal spiritual practice they can enact this week in order to explore that value and keep it present in their daily thoughts and actions, and just see what happens with it. Coming of age, right? So great. Don't worry, I'm working on a coming of age curriculum for adults, so you all can do it too sometime soon. Thinking about the Haden Ashani Thanksgiving address that Gwen so wonderfully organized for our service today, and about our coming of age class this afternoon that Gwen also wonderfully organized. Gwen, this year, I am very grateful for you. I've been thinking a lot about values this Thanksgiving, specifically the value of generosity. It's my understanding that generosity is an organizing principle amongst some of the tribes that comprise the Wabanaki Confederacy. And it's clear from our Thanksgiving address today that generosity is paramount to the tribes that comprise the Iroquois Confederacy. And I remember when I first considered the concept of generosity as an organizing factor for an entire culture, an entire nation. I remember I was dumbfounded. Sure, here in our congregation with the people we know and love, generosity is present. It's easy to do in all we do. But imagine if generosity was at the forefront of your mind all the time. What if generosity was your first thought, your first action, your first reaction in everything you did every day? What if generosity was the water we collectively swam in, the organizing principle of our culture, of this nation, to which we all belong? Can you imagine? I feel so free, so present, so interconnected when I let that thought arise in my heart and mind. Generosity, the organizing principle of all that I do. It's slippery to hold on to, though. My friends, this Thanksgiving week is going to be different for many of us. Quieter, perhaps, with fewer people and fewer traditions. For those struggling with loneliness right now, you are in my heart and my prayers. You're not alone, though it may seem that way. Give me a call anytime. And sure, although Thanksgiving 2020 might be quiet and more pared down than usual, I want to argue that this is the perfect week to take yourself on a spiritual retreat and to explore a personal spiritual practice. Might I suggest the practice of narrowing down your personal values until you find one that you feel is truly an organizing principle for you, or perhaps one that you want to be more of an organizing principle. And then make it a practice to hold that value in the forefront of your mind this week. See if you can say it to yourself the first thing upon waking and the last thing before you go to sleep. See if you can hold it out in front of you, with you, as you interact with others, as you walk upon this sacred land, make it a point especially to direct this value towards yourself. I'll leave it to you as to what personal value you want to explore: compassion, humility, empathy, love. But if you're at a loss, might I suggest generosity? My friends, I speak to you upon the stolen dawn lands of the Wabanaki this morning, on the 400th anniversary of the Mayflower's arrival at Plymouth Rock, on the cusp of a different kind of a Thanksgiving week. There is much to be grateful for, and there is much to hold right now. So won't you join me in a time of meditation and prayer? Parts of this prayer are adapted from a meditation of thanksgiving and atonement led by the monks and nuns of the Zen Mountain Monastery in New York upon the lands of the Iroquois Confederacy. I invite you to take a deep breath now and just center yourself. Today we gather in joyful thanksgiving. We give thanks for the bounty of our community and the beauty of this place we share. We give thanks for the sacred life of every being, plant and animal, that surrounds us. We give thanks for you, for your life, and the goodness you share with this world. And this year, we especially give thanks to our teachers, our nurses, our doctors, our grocery store clerks, and aisle stockers. We give thanks to our justice seekers and change makers who never stop bending the arc of our moral universe towards justice. As we gather in thanks today, we also gather in solemn remembrance. We honor the tribes of the Wabanaki Confederacy, the people of the Dawn Land, the Abenaki, the Penobscot, the Micmac, the Passamaquoddy, and the Maliseet. We acknowledge that the Wabanaki revered and lived in intimate contact with the many creatures that inhabit these woods, bays, islands, hills, and rivers. We acknowledge the violence, deception, and destruction that was brought upon the Wabanaki in order to create the lifestyle we live today. May we atone for any harms that our presence on these lands has caused. And may we take responsibility for understanding and addressing this harm. May we begin this work of repair today by showing our appreciation for the ancestors of this sacred land and by living in peace and harmony with all the sacred beings that inhabit this land. Today, we give thanks for the love we have to give and the love we are able to receive. May we be generous and radical with this love always. I invite you now, once again, to take a moment of quiet and think of 3 things that you're especially grateful for right now. If the list gets longer than that, just let it. Join me in this time of quiet. And now, my friends of all ages, once again, because, we can never be too thankful. Let's let one of those things we're really grateful for come into our mind. And on the count of 3, let's say it together. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. You. I'm so grateful for you. Amen. Let us go into our day ahead with a value in our hearts and minds that will bring goodness into this world. And won't you join me in singing our closing hymn, number 1010, We Give Thanks. And once again, the lyrics for this song are in your order of worship today.
So we are about to view a Thanksgiving collage of your photos. And I just wanted to say my gratitude for getting to receive all of these pictures as each of them came in and you listed what you were thankful for. I couldn't help but imagine us all sitting at a long table and going around and each saying and sharing what we're thankful for. It's wonderful and beautiful, and I hope that you feel the same way, and that maybe as you look at these photos, you can imagine each of us together sharing what we are thankful for.
Oh, that was so beautiful. Thank you to everyone who shared a photo, and to those who didn't. Well, Gwen, we'll still accept photos, right, of things people are thankful for? Gwen is nodding. You can't see her, but she's nodding. Thank you, everyone. That was wonderful to watch. And thank you, choir, once again. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, everyone who participated in our service. Thank you, Marge. I wish you all a week of spiritual exploration, a week of generosity, a week of love in expected and unexpected places, a week of gratitude, and hopefully a week of pie. May all beings be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. May we all experience profound joy and the causes of profound joy. May we all remember that we walk upon sacred lands. May we treat them with care, and may we treat one another with care. Happy Thanksgiving. There's much to be grateful for, and I am grateful for you. Let's go in peace with a parting blessing from our choir, and I hope to see you all in coffee hour in a few minutes.